NFL player props here over on PrizePicks. For Thursday Night Football, we got November 20th. We got the Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Texans here on Thursday night. Before I get started, you guys, follow me on Twitter at ToughPicks. I've been posting daily plays of the day over on there. At the time of me recording this video, got a couple plays of the day over on Twitter at ToughPicks. So again, follow me on there, posting daily plays of the day. Really trying to grow my Twitter following. Also, you guys, take a look in the description below of this video. Hop into the Discord. It's a wap.com link. Again, it's where I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. We have other cappers in there as well. Super positive community. 20% off first month. Using seen recently. We know Buffalo doesn't play as well on the road as they do at home, and we know the Texans play well at home. No CJ Stroud in this one. I think Davis Mills is going to continue to start for the Texans, but I got two player props that I am targeting for this game. Let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into it. The first one being Woody Marks, running back for the Houston Texans. I like his over 12 fantasy score. Again, this is PPR scoring format on PrizePicks, so there is upside obviously for receptions and things like that for running backs. But for Woody Marks, he's kind of taken over that RB1 role with the Texans, passing Nick Chubb in that depth chart. And Ogunbowale, I know, is there as well. He just is really pass catching back. But really, since I want to say week 4, we've seen Woody Marks kind of taking slowly but surely taking on that RB1 role. And it really these last 2 weeks has dominated the snap share for the Texans. We talk about Woody Marks, 80% in week 10, 66 last week compared to Chubb, 13 and 26. So he is the RB1 in this offense. And we look at Woody Marks on this fantasy score line over on Outlier. Again, there's a link in the description below. You guys get a 7-day free trial with Outlier. Elite research betting tool, you guys, that I do use every single day. I highly recommend Outlier, you guys. Again, so many different filters, so many different ways to get really ahead and take advantage of value with these player props. But we look at Woody Marks this season over this line. Like I said, in 4 of his last 7 games, right? Essentially, if we talk about the last 7 at home this season, has played well. Over in 3 of his last 4 at home, 3 of 5 total games at home, averaging 13.58 fantasy points. And really, I mean, we talk about just this matchup against the Buffalo Bills, which is just an absolute elite matchup. This season, 2 running backs, PPR scoring, the Buffalo Bills are allowing the second most total points per game, fantasy points per game, to the running back position, just really getting gashed on the ground. They are allowing the 3rd most total yards per carry to running backs, just getting beat in a variety of different ways, also allowing the most total rushing touchdowns to running backs this season. We look at running backs fantasy score game logs this season versus the Buffalo Bills, running backs that have at least logged 10 plus rush attempts. And we see the type of upside that this line does have, as Achane, Bijan Robinson, Sean Tucker just last week all put up 30 plus PPR fantasy points, along with Derrick Henry 29.2, Devon Achane 16.1, Kareem Hunt 12.5, Kendra Miller 12.5. So 7 total running backs against essentially this season have cleared this line, but the ceiling is just so high for these types of players, which is why I do like this low kind of fantasy score line of 12 for Woody Marks. I mean, we talk about just some alternative lines for Woody Marks that attribute to his fantasy score. Receptions, he's over 1.5 receptions, currently sitting on books at -156 on DraftKings, -160 on BetMGM. We look at this season with 2 plus receptions. Obviously PPR scoring format. Woody Marks has had 16.1, 12.5, 15.1, and 27.9 PPR fantasy points, which again gives us that type of upside. But if he is going to be able to run the ball on the ground, which running backs have definitely been able to run the ball on the ground this season, we talk about all these guys. I mean, Devon Achane had 174, Bijan Robinson 170 rushing yards, and Derrick Henry had 169. Sean Tucker last week, just like I said, 106 on the ground, 2 rushing touchdowns, also had 2 catches for 34 yards and a receiving TD. Just so much upside here for Woody Marks in what should be a competitive game. Even if I do think the Texans are trailing, they should see an increased he should see an increased uptick in maybe some targets out of the backfield as well, which is why I like this spot here for Woody Marks. The second play here I'm looking at is going to be a rush yards line. It's going to be Josh Allen over 33.5 rushing yards. Again, the Texans defense is the best defense fantasy-wise or just production-wise against the quarterback position. We look at this season, the Houston Texans are giving up essentially the fewest fantasy points to the quarterback position, which I think just bodes well to overall production. They're giving up the fewest amount of fantasy points to the quarterback position. But, however, they are allowing the 2nd most total yards per carry to quarterbacks this season from a rushing yards perspective. They are allowing on the season, I think one out here, 18th most, or sorry, what is that? I don't know. The 18th whatever. They're ranked 18th in the National Football League in rushing yards to quarterbacks, but the yards per carry I think is just the intriguing factor here. 7.04 yards per carry. We know Josh Allen, debatably top 3, top 2 rushing upside quarterback in the National Football League, and we talk about Josh Allen on this line. This season he's over in 5 of 10. Last season was over in 9 of 20. We even go back to like years prior, right? Like if you go back to 2022 for Josh Allen, he was 33.5. He was over this line in 2022 in a ton of games. 2023 as well was over this line in a ton of games here. Go back to 2021. I'm sure he was over this line in like a lot of games. Yeah, I mean, this is the rush yards line. Josh Allen, I think on PrizePicks right now, currently rush attempts, I want to say, is a Goblin at 5.5 still. Let's actually see if it still is. Goblin, yeah, his rush attempts, Goblin's at 5.5. Again, he's going to see 6+ carries in this one, rush attempts essentially for a quarterback. But if you just look at other quarterbacks' game logs this season, rushing stats versus the Texans, Cam Ward 33. Or let's see, actually, let's flip to this. Bo Nix 36, Trevor Lawrence 35, Cam Ward 33, Baker Mayfield 33, Mac Jones 23, and Cam Ward 22. Again, some other quarterbacks, obviously, Matthew Stafford doesn't run a ton, Cooper Rush doesn't run a ton, and Sam Darnold doesn't run a ton either. But Josh Allen, you could say, is easily the best rushing upside quarterback of any of these quarterbacks here. And we talk about those lines. Again, this is the other benefit of outlier. We look at those lines for those quarterbacks in those matchups. Cam Ward had a line of 5.5 rushing yards. He had 33. Trevor Lawrence had a line of 14.5. He had 35. Bo Nix had a line of 19.5. He had 36. Mac Jones had a line of 6.5. He had 23. All right, so we look at these types of lines and we see these quarterbacks soar over them. Absolutely soar over them. Now, Josh Allen obviously has a ton of rushing upside, and I just think it's a strong matchup. We know the Texans, their pass defense is strong. They get to the quarterback. Run-stop defense is really strong as well. If we just talk about against running backs this season, the Houston Texans, I believe, are top 5. Yeah, 3rd fewest yards per carry to the running back position. So it's going to be tough for the Bills to run the football. We know it's going to be tough for them to pass the football. And I just think there's a ton of upside here for Josh Allen's legs in this matchup. So 2 player props, you guys. Thursday Night Football, Texans, Bills. Please drop a like, you guys. Take out all the links in the description below. Follow me on Twitter at ToughPicks. And as always, let's cash.